Hello everybody, welcome to the 2025 Top Dog Challenge Round 2 recap. I'm throwing my FD1 just like round 1 on a flex shot and little under committed, end up a lot shorter than I was in round 1. Today on the card I have Chandler Fry, Jeremy Marsh, and Michael Meredith. Just putting to lay up here, and that'll be a fine par to start round 2. Next, throwing my FD3 on a forehand up the hill to the right. Trying to push it inside just like round 1. I ended up getting a little too high and catching some branches, and that slows me down quite a bit, so I don't quite make it to the basket. And I'll have a uphill circle's edge putt to start round 2. And that was a really good putt, really smooth, really committed out of my hand. Once I made that, I was feeling really confident with this round. I felt that there was going to be a really good battle between me and Chandler. This is me deciding. And now I'm going my S-Line PD2 on hole 3, the par 4. Again, trying to crash it into the trees on the left, similar to round 1. This time though, I get it a lot lower. And that's actually what I want to do primarily. And I get a really good skip through the left, through the biggest gap on the right side. End up here, and I actually have a long look for an eagle. And just don't commit quite enough, but that's fine. To go par birdie just like round 1 was feeling really nice. So got the birdie. Then hole 4, going instinct today instead of the FD1. I went with FD1 round 1 because of the big headwind, but there was none of that day 2. So I try and throw my instinct, and gets a little more turn than the FD1, so I'm not quite as far left, but I still have a longer putt than I would like on that hole. Trying to give this a soft bid because that cart path back there is out of bounds, and I don't want any of that. And just undercommitted too much, so that's an easy par. Next, hole 5. Throwing my PD again, just trying to get it on that right side and have it flex back to the basket. Trying to recorrect from day 1 instead of under committing. I want to commit just more, and I am committing a little too much, pulling it right. There is OB with that ball golf green, but I get over it and put myself on the right side for a long putt. And Chandler was trying to throw me his whale sack there, and he threw it between his legs, and I almost caught it. So got this long putt for birdie. And really good, committed, smooth putt. Good birdie to get. So 3 through 5 is ideal for me right there, going into the next half of the front 9. So you can see the wind is really blowing here. I'm just trying to aim at that far left side dead tree and push it right with the MD1. And I aim exactly where I'm looking, or I throw exactly where I'm aiming, and end up in a lot better spot than I did round 1. So have a very long bid for the birdie. This is definitely a bonus. So if I get this, I'll be really happy. If I don't, I'm not too worried about it. Trying to give it good bid and just a little left side. So fine par. Next, hole 7. Throwing my PD2. There was still headwind, just like round 1, but it ended up doing the opposite to my disc today than it did round 1, and it actually kept lifting my disc. As you can see, my disc is just continuing to move and be in the air instead of falling out, instead of falling out like round 1. So get a lot further up into the gap here. And Chandler had actually thrown in for eagle just there. He was taking that out of the basket. So he gets a stroke on me there and putt up just for an easy birdie. This is one that I was bummed to not get round 1. But it's a good birdie to get round 2 when it's needed. When I have one of the best players in the Pacific Northwest right on my heels. Throwing hole 8 again, throwing my Glacier. Trying to not fluff it like round 1, actually commit to the shot. And I do the exact same thing as round 1 and get pretty much the exact same kick over to the exact same spot on the right side. So I'll have this again like 75 footer for birdie. And at this point I'm feeling really confident with the putt. So I feel really good running this and not going too far past. And it felt really good out of the hand, just a bit high and right, so end up missing. To not get hole 8 2 days in a row is rough, or to not even get it once is a rough one, because this is one that a lot of people are birdieing. But 2 strokes better than round 1 so far, so can't really complain too much. Next, hole 9, throw my Razor Claw, swinging it out right over the ball golf green and having the natural stability of the disc get it left. And that's exactly how I want to throw it. Gets a good skip up to the basket, so should be a nice birdie. Little right side, but that catches. It's a good birdie to get. This is one that you really don't want to miss. And here's a Chandler and Asher check-in. At this point, I'm at 16 under total. He is at 15 under total. You will be seeing this on the next couple holes, and use promo code Asher20 at thismania.net to receive 20% off your purchase. Expires April 30th. So be sure to use that while it's up. Hole 10, throwing my Sea Line Horizon FD3. I'm feeling really good at this point, a lot better than I was round one. Trying to commit it wider than I did round one, because round one I pushed it 2 inside and pushed the OB. So trying to get a good skip that'll carry me towards the basket by pushing it wider. End up going a little longer than I thought, which isn't uncommon for me on this hole. But at a time like this where I have Chandler's parked, and that was a really good putt, felt really confident. And we got me at -17, Chandler at -16. So he ended up putting it pretty much under the basket, which was a really big motivator for me to make that putt. Next, hole 11, throwing my Essence on a roller. Trying to get pretty aggressive with this hole. This is one that if I get, I know will be a huge bonus. And thought it was great out of my hand. And it ended up, I thought it was a lot better than it was. But I end up pretty far away from the basket, just trying to lay this up. And as you can see, that grass right in front of me there is really long. That is something that I wish they would do on Delphi, is trim that grass to make the roller more accessible, easier to get down to the basket. But par on this hole is totally fine with me. Again, not losing a stroke to the field here. Me and Chandler still -17, -16. Next, hole 12. Trying to punch my drop down the middle just like round one. And I pull it just a little bit left on that sidearm and get actually a pretty decent kick to a open spot where I can just throw up for an easy birdie, or easy par, excuse me. Using my spore here just to have it sit down right next to the basket. Chandler, he birdied this hole by going the forehand route, and I knew that. I didn't know what the scores were at the time. I knew that it was close, but I just knew that if I just kept playing the game that I had been playing all weekend, that I would have a good chance of winning. So here, me for par, which is totally fine. -17, -17. Again, I did not know this at the time, but when I found out, I was pretty shocked. Next, hole 13. You can either go down the middle or throw the sidearm on the left side. It's really open. I'm choosing the sidearm with the MD5, just trying to make an exact copy of round one, and that is exactly what I did pretty much. So end up putting it actually even closer than round one. So easy birdie, and Chandler also birdied, so it's now -18, -18. And hole 14, Chandler was on the left side early, so I knew that if I put it close, that this would be a pretty big advantage for me. Throwing my FD1. And I actually got in my head a little bit and pulled it to that right side, trying to commit a little too much. But the hillside allows the stability to kick in right at the last moment and keep me safe. And I actually end up with a decent putt. And just sent it a little too high out of my hand. I thought it was great, and the headwind just lifted it, and so I hit the number plate on the top of the basket. So that's one that I was really hoping to get there. Instead, just parring it. But Chandler had also parred it, so I wasn't losing any strokes to him. And there's Jeremy Marsh tapping in for his par. We got this hole 15 is brought to you by Flexline Discs, one of my main sponsors. Again, shout out to them. Hole 15, throwing my FT1. If what happened in round 1 happens again, I'm totally fine with that. Having that putt off of the fence would be totally fine with me. Put it a little wider, but a little more hyzer. And doesn't sit as nicely as I would have hoped, but end up down on that left side near the fence again. Closer than round 1 though. So instead of having to be forced to go to a straddle, I can actually do my normal stagger putt, which was feeling really good at this point. That's a great putt for me, especially because Chandler was parked. I didn't actually see his drive, which helped me, I think, with the mental side of it. We're both now at minus 19. So hole 16, again, trying to throw it exactly like round 1. Kind of push the right side so I have an open angle with the hyzer. And it's exactly what happens. I get it on the right side. I'm not too worried about being shorter than round 1. So now I have an easy hyzer with a glow FD3. And Chandler was actually on the left side of this fairway, which is pinched off because of a stump right on that left side that prevents you from seeing the basket clearly. Shout out to Jason Koch for high-fiving me right there. And I ended up closer than I thought I was, which made me pretty happy to be pretty much parked. And Chandler had ended up parring that hole because of his pinched off angle on the left side. So I end up minus 20 and he's at minus 19. Next, hole 17, downhill par 3, OB on the left side. I'm going to my glacier here, just like round 1, trying to push that right side with that clump of trees there and have it hyzer back. Push it a little more left, but it flips up and stays straight. But I didn't throw it as hard as I would have liked, so end up about circle's edge short for birdie. And this putt, this is a must-make putt pretty much because Chandler is closer to me. He pushed the OB on the left side, and I know that he's not going to be missing that. Really confident clutch putt there, and again, he did birdie, and I also birdied, so now it's minus 21, minus 20, and I'm 1 stroke ahead of him going into the last hole, hole 18. And again, I did not know what the scores were at all. I didn't know if someone else had shot a really hot round and was catching up on us, or if he was way ahead of me. But I'm throwing my MD5 on the left side, and I throw it exactly how I want to. Almost acing it, actually, as you can see from my reaction and the crowd's reaction there. And just letting everybody else tap out right here. This is Jeremy Marsh for his birdie. And This was actually filmed by Justin Banks, who owns Fairway Media. So, or no, this was actually shot by Dad. Justin Banks is right there from Fairway Media. And tapping in for the birdie. And I'm super stoked about that because I just won my first MPO tournament, battling out with Chandler Fry. He's right there, giving me some hugs. There we go. Minus 22, minus 21 was that final score. First MPO win. Average rating of the tournament, 1047 for both rounds. I shot 11 under, 11 under. Shout out to Flexline Disc, Discmania Disc, and my dad for being there, and just my whole family for all the support that they give me so that I can play my best game.